working over there on your end?
Yeah, got it.
And now, Detailing Success and PNS Double Black present the Renny Doyle Podcast, a podcast for blue-collar entrepreneurs. Hosted by the detailer of Air Force One and founder of both Detailing Success and the Detail Mafia, Renny Doyle. And now,
good morning, everybody.
Here's Renny.
Oh, hey, Chris, I wasn't late this time. I actually got to hear the that sounds good.
Yeah, there you go.
Last time I couldn't get my computer to come up. So, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's
Dude, every time we get on one of these, you're skinnier.
I'm trying.
You look really you look good.
I'm approaching 240.
Wow. What's your goal?
Well, maybe as low as 200.
Dang, good for you. Yeah, you look really good. I mean, I just saw you, a week ago, a little over a week ago, like 8 days ago. And you can tell a difference even in 8 days.
Yeah, I'm trying.
That's
tough.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun today. We're going into Thanksgiving, and it's really one of my favorite times of year. It means different things to different people. We'll jump into here and kind of share. Chris really built most of this. I went through and did some edits and kind of arranged it, but this is really Chris. And so he did a really nice job on this, and it was really his idea. We had another topic slated, but I think it's appropriate. So, we've had a crazy, we've been going, I think Friday will be my 21st day in a row of work. And just we had SEMA. We had Your Able was here after SEMA. We had our after event for the Mafia. We had our Extreme One Day this last Saturday with Griot's came in. So we did this is really cool is here we have two big brands, PNS and Griot's, come together, with Double Black. And it shows you that competitors can be great allies. And so that goes for even, the people that are on the ground and the trenches, is you guys can work together and make your businesses better. And so it was great to see them. Other than that, this week, we've had an awesome week. We're going to get these guys up. Come on up. We're going to have, Chris, if you don't mind, I'm going to have them introduce themselves. I'm going to get out of the way. Okay.
No, that's
so
cool.
We've got really two. We got a great intern. Man, he's showing off some guns today. He's showing off his guns. And so we've got a great intern, but we've got two partnerships here, two teams. And so I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and I'll get out of the way for a sec.
Hello, good morning. My name is Ruben Guillen from Denver, Colorado, and Javier and I run All Wash Mobile Detail.
Good morning, guys. My name is Javier Vasquez, partners with Ruben here. Running All Wash Mobile Detail. Having a great time here at Renny's class. I think everybody should definitely think about doing that.
Cool. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Israel Dona. I'm from Venezuela. I live in Philadelphia. It's good business. Renny Doyle is good.
I'll pay you guys later.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Colmenares. We come from Pennsylvania. My main country is Venezuela. So I'm Israel's Dona partner with Nice Cars Detail. And it's been really great experience out here with Renny Doyle, our intern, and it's nice to see you guys.
There you go. Right on. There he is, the man.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Ryan with Black Diamond Detail out of Redding, California. We have a good group of guys here, and have a good morning.
Cool. Hey, your zipper's down. Made him look. Hey, so there's a story to that, Chris. We'll talk about it later. Hey, before we go any further, is again, kudos to Chris. I want to tell you, I surround myself with some amazing people. This week having you guys here, you've just killed it. Yeah, seriously. I mean, most of our groups do. All of our groups do. There's sometimes, some people struggle. They're just not used to being in a group setting, or, they're nervous, they're shy, but, you guys appreciate your hard work. I've got just a wonderful family with Diane and our daughter, all of our kids, but our daughter, Darren, she's out here kicking in Sunday, making sure the shop was cleaned up. Diane's out here busting her butt with me until 6, 7 o'clock that night. And then Chris, I want to thank him. I also want to thank the entire Detail Mafia, especially the leadership. The current board is just amazing. We've got a lot of changes coming up. Oscar is going to be a big part of the Mafia moving forward. So you'll see some videos come out and stuff like that. I want to thank Bob and Dave Phillips for the opportunity. They really helped make this happen, this podcast happen. So with that is the power of one, the power of you. That's the topic for today. And again, Chris, great job laying this out. Before I go any further, though, I want to read something. And then I'm going to give you a little input. And this was with Snoop Dogg. Okay. When Snoop Dogg got a star on the Walk of Fame finally, he said the following. Okay. And there's a point to this, because the power of one, the power of Thanksgiving. But one of the things that we fail to do a lot of times is to thank yourself. And people think that's real cocky. No, it's not. It's really important. So listen to what Snoop Dogg said. He said, I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for always being a giver and trying to give more than I receive. I want to thank me for trying to do more right than wrong. I want to thank me for all the times, Snoop Dogg, you are a bad mother. Shortly after, the rapper thanked G.O.D. So I want to add a couple things to that, is that I always want to give thanks for my faith. Personally, it's really important to me. I want to be thankful. I'm thankful for myself for being trainable and allowing myself to be mentored. I want to give thanks for giving myself the skill base that was not there. I wasn't born with it, of building up relationships. I want to thank me for being able to connect with other people. I want to thank me for being willing in my heart to give other people opportunities like I've had, even when they're not thankful for it. And I want to thank me for learning to follow others and not just lead when it's most importantly. So if you go back, this video is there. It's about a 2.5 minute video, I believe, of Snoop Dogg saying this. And, he got some hate on it. But for anybody that's built anything up, I don't care how big or small, what he's talking about there. He's the one. His family paid a price too. But ultimately, that man, we have no idea. I don't, you don't, nobody does, how hard he worked to get where he's at to be Snoop Dogg. We don't know. We'll never understand. But I guarantee you it came at a big price mentally and physically. Is he getting rewarded? This guy, I don't know how old Snoop Dogg is, but he's still a mainstay. He's doing commercials. He's doing this. Is that, we've got young people here. I don't think there's a person here that doesn't know who Snoop Dogg is. He's stayed relative all these years, and I have a feeling he will for a long, long time. I don't think he's going to go away anywhere. So, we're coming up on the Thanksgiving holiday. It has a lot of different meaning to people. I love fall. I love when the weather starts getting cool. Did you guys see me out walking when you guys came up today? Not walking my dog. I love the sound of the crunch of the snow underneath my feet. We've had a really unusually cold fall here so far. I like to sit down, and this time of year it sounds nuts, but I really start reflecting back to the earliest Thanksgivings I can remember. And the reason why is it makes me so thankful for what I have right now. Is usually I don't like to look in the rearview mirror much, but at Thanksgiving and at Christmas, all the good memories. And, we didn't have a whole lot growing up, but we always had a really good Thanksgiving and we always had a really good Christmas. And it meant a lot to us, all of us. And, we had family drama going on. We had everything else going on, crazy Italian family. We just had a lot of stuff going on, but we always enjoyed it. We always had fun. This time of year is all the way through Christmas and New Year's is the souls in your life, the people, the animals, your friends, your family, the soul connection with people and the soul connection with creatures and God himself. That's what's important to me, is that connecting with that. And then sometimes you got to look back and say, listen, man, I haven't given this soul or the souls in my life enough credit. And sometimes it's going back and just giving thanks for the people that really mean something to you and have put a lot into your life. And that's what it means to me. And so, Chris, you want to jump into this next little section?
Yeah. Hold on just a second because I got distracted. But, Renny just dove into Thanksgiving quite a bit. And, along with Thanksgiving, right, the day after, we all get a Black Friday, the big shopping day and a busy shopping weekend. It rolls right into Cyber Monday, for online shopping, but one of my favorite things that has come out of the commercialization of the holidays like this is the creation of Giving Tuesday. The day after Cyber Monday is kind of a day that has been set aside and used to push giving back and whether it's your time or abilities or just financially giving a little bit to somebody in need. So that's one of my favorite things to come out of all that. So the Tuesday following Thanksgiving, but you don't really need a day to do that. Obviously, it's just something that helps. But helping people and serving others is one of the secrets to helping you find your own success and happiness in life. We've all probably experienced that before, right? We've done a little service. We've either helped somebody or did a service project through some organization. We've, as the Detail Mafia, we go up and volunteer our time and work on Air Force One to preserve that. I've done other similar projects. We've worked on fire trucks at the LA County Fire Museum. I've done, worked on B-25s with Joe Fernandez in the industry, that kind of thing years ago. And whenever you do something where you donate your time and make something better for people, you always walk away feeling better about yourself. But what really started this whole podcast idea today was I stumbled across a quote that I have in a book of mine, and the quote is from Winston Churchill, and so I'll go ahead and read that real quick. It says, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give." And I thought that was pretty powerful.
And coming from a really powerful, I've studied a lot about Winston Churchill and not just, a lot of people think of him as prime minister during World War II, but, he had his setbacks and challenges. He was a soldier and he made a couple of drastic mistakes during his career, and he lived with those things. But, I think it's while Chris, right off the heels of that, while money's great, don't get me wrong. I mean, we all got to make a living, right? We're talking about it. Listen, we exchange our time for money, and you better make the most of that time, and you better make the most money. But with that being said, is I can tell you right now, happiness seldom comes from just simply making more money or achieving that goal. Is that it comes from living with a fulfilled heart, and I'm really embarking on endeavors that mean something to you, and doing it with the right people around you and having total satisfaction. Is that Johnny Cash has a song called "A Satisfied Mind," And I've mentioned it a lot. And I read the lyrics to you guys a couple days ago of A Satisfied Mind. And, there's a person that, had a lot of early day struggles. Again, like Snoop Dogg, he worked nonstop to get where he was. He went through a pretty bitter divorce. He had the love of his life. He sung this one song kind of towards the end of his life, right? He had seen a lot. He had experienced a lot by that time. And he had realized that, 1 in 10 men that were rich and wealthy, 1 in 10 had a satisfied mind. Most were not happy with where they were in life. And what a shame to reach a pinnacle in your life, any pinnacle. Maybe that pinnacle is you're 25, maybe you're 30, maybe you're 40, maybe you're 50. But to reach the latter years, or even a decade in, let's say that you're 20 years old and you've got 10, you start out your business and now you're 30. And after 10 years, after a decade, you don't know how many of those decades you're going to have. Is now you've got 3 decades in the book. How many more do you have? And you don't have a satisfied mind after putting it in for 10 years? Is it going to get better? Only if you take and make a very, very big sacrifice and decide, I need happiness instead of wealth. I need happiness and a satisfied mind instead of fame. I think that's what those lyrics say to me. And they played a big part, is that, so many times in my life, I've turned down an opportunity to make a lot of money because I knew that it wasn't the right situation. It wasn't right for me. Sometimes I look back at that and go, God, should I have just gone for it? And the answer I always come back at is no, it was the right decision. Is that I am pretty dang happy. And the only thing that stresses me out is not having a satisfied mind. And so I work very hard on being satisfied. Chris?
Yeah, it's that, I haven't actually thought about it as a satisfied mind that much, but to me it feels like, it's the same thing as finding your purpose, feeling like the things you're doing are making some good and either helping society as a whole, or just as simple as just helping you and your own family, and making sure you're contributing in a positive way. There's a lot of crap going on in the world right now, right? I mean, every generation seems to think the generation before them had it better. And, I don't know, since the beginning of time, the world's always been coming to an end, right? But there's a lot of crap right now. There's, we've had pandemics, and, they talk about more pandemics. We've had lots of crazy inflation, climate change. Poverty is a big one, especially out by where I'm at. Everywhere you look, you see people in poverty. These are huge, kind of massive problems, right? These are problems that, as individuals, we can't solve, but can only get solved by either working together or, relying on our government to solve it, right? Because government's there to solve the problems that the people can't solve, the really big ones, right? But the stuff that is solvable by the rest of us, we kind of need to step up and do that. And, and if we are able to do that, through a variety of little ways, and the list is endless what you can do, right? But with a little creativity and a commitment to do something, we could all find a way to make a difference in our families' lives, our businesses, in our industries, in our communities. It's making a difference at the center of your universe and seeing that change happen right in front of you.
Well, Chris, right off of that is next week is we're Boomer and I are going on a little journey. We're going to take some time off. We've got some business to take care of, some fun stuff. We won't dive into what we're going to be doing, but it's going to be fun, and I'll be sharing that. For those 15 people that know me, is we'll be sharing our journey along. We're going to do a cross country road trip for really good purpose. But it's funny because last night, Boomer and I go out for our late night walks, and and then I had him out early this morning, and I really clarity. And it was funny because I knew this, this podcast was coming up. And so if anybody else talks to their dogs, I talk to Boomer, and in a weird way, he talks back. But I said, hey, dude, hey, what can we do along the way? And so our biggest hunt is going to be looking for people that need something. And we're really looking for people that just need to be told, hey, man, you matter. And if they need some food, is we're going to take care of some needs along the journey there and back. And it's not a bragging point, but it's something. It's Thanksgiving, and I'm going to be away from, Boomer and I are going to be away from our family for really the first time, Thanksgiving. Last time I was gone like this is we were deployed up to the Paradise Fire. And I don't know if that's playing a part of this, maybe deep in my mind, is to kind of work some of that's come back to the surface in recent times. But the other part is a lot of fun. But on that journey, the whole way is that we know we're going to come in contact with people that we can make a difference. And so giving your time, your talents, your knowledge, even some financial resources, it's got a ripple effect in your life, a positive ripple effect. And not only that, but, I always say this, Chris and I don't do this podcast to be popular. We could change the tempo of it and probably be the #1 podcast in the industry or a really good resource. It's never been our goal, is that each one of us have our message of struggle. And we know that our goal is one person a week that we impact. And thankfully we haven't gone a podcast yet where we haven't heard from at least one person that says, hey, you said this and it made a difference. And so that's our goal. So even giving our time, I was up until, last night, what time did you finally stop looking at the notes page changing, Chris?
Well, I'll be honest, I think I fell asleep around 10. So,
so 10 or 11, I'm still up, kind of shifting this around, and Chris did 90% of the building on this, and I'm going in and, I've added the Snoop Dogg thing. And so my point to that is we don't monetize from this financially. We monetize this spiritually and off of really good feelings. We get some really good messages off of this. And I had a young lady that was at Saturday's training, and she goes, man, I listen to your Sunday messages and I listen to your podcast, and sometimes I'm so out of it. And then you just say something. It's like, I feel you're talking to me. Jesus, that just made, if nobody else ever said anything for another 300 podcasts, her saying that to me is what pushes Chris and I to do this. And so if you can do that, you might have an audience of 5. Who cares? Now you might educate your community. You might go out and again, look for ways in your local community that you can give of your time. Your money's one thing, but your time, your most valuable asset. When I see people volunteering, it's when I see rich people give, that's needed. There's organizations that need money. But I'll tell you, I think that a volunteer's heart is pretty unbeatable. I think that's the ultimate giving. And so Chris has got this is a really good quote right here.
Yeah. So, have you guys heard of Desmond Tutu? He's a bishop in South Africa. I don't know too much about him, but I was introduced to him through a U2 song. I know Bono mentions him in a U2 song, and U2 is one of those bands these days. It's like, it's everybody's favorite band to hate for some reason, but I still like them.
I do too.
So, but Desmond Tutu has a great quote, and it says, do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. So that goes right back into just doing that little part and making an impact that eventually will make those ripple effects.
It's pretty amazing. And, I love to read quotes. I'm really big in it. Winston Churchill is one of my favorites. I also, there's a, I don't know if you call it a podcast, but I subscribe to famous speeches. And so it goes back since the earliest recordings were made of really impressive speeches that have been made through history. And it's pretty cool because you can sit there and get through and kind of see through the speech where things were in the world at that given time. And so history repeats itself. And so in so many ways, we're going through struggles. As Chris said it, we always think, oh man, we got it harder. I think we've got it so much easier. Can you imagine? First off, I think about the Cowboys, people coming across the Missouri Trail, people of that era, they didn't have toilet paper. I'm kind of a restroom snob, right? It's like, okay, you're out there, you're wrangling some, cattle, doing whatever you are, coming across from New York to California to live the dream. But the whole way over, what the hell are you wiping with? That alone puts us in a whole different category, man, because I cannot imagine going and grabbing a tumbleweed and wipe my butt with a tumbleweed. I just can't imagine, is I'm going to grab somebody's clothes and I'm using their underwear, because there's just no way. I'm kind of picky on that stuff. So, giving back and being a service to fellow man is just an amazing payback. And I think that, you can go to nonprofits, you can do all these things, but a lot of us that are listening to this podcast, we're blue collar. Maybe you don't have a lot of money. You know what? Go donate 5 hours of your time a month. I think that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm going to tell you right now, what you're going to learn from a heartfelt position when you do that is priceless. Is go out. It's very easy to see people. When people are really hurting. What I really respect is when somebody that's really in trouble and you see them on the streets, is they're not out looking for a handout. They're just trying to survive. Those are the people that I approach. And a lot of times, some of them are pretty damaged, right? They've had some injuries, and I don't necessarily mean physical, but some mental injuries, whether it's they've struggled from addictions or mental, they've got some mental health issues. But a lot of times when you ask those people, what's your story? Who are you? What are you? You'll see them light up because a lot of people have never asked them that. Maybe you might be the only person that asks them who they are or their name. Don't be scared to shake their hands. Wet wipes are cheap. Touching somebody that's in need you could change the whole trajectory of their entire lives right then and there. Maybe they live the rest of their days out on the streets, but they're going to probably remember the day that somebody cared, or at least the day somebody cared that week, or at least the day that somebody cared that month, or at least the day that somebody cared that year. Don't just do it during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Set out. Your company could change the way your community views things. Of going out and just making a little bit of a difference. There's so many different ways of doing that. So as we enter this, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and even, even just on a real simple level, right? I mean, this does not have to be complicated. It's really about changing your mindset. Serving others and making an impact in your community is as simple as opening the door for somebody when you're walking into a building. It's as simple as putting the shopping cart back so the guy whose job it is, he doesn't have to wander around the whole parking lot, right? And waste his time doing that when he could be doing more important things. It's picking up a piece of trash, right? Making the world
picking up your own damn mask.
Yeah. Picking up old mat. I haven't seen as many of those lately.
No, we haven't either, and it's nasty, but I mean, Chris, you just nailed it. It's just the simple things. You see so many people are detached from the world, and so many people, are looking here or they're looking down. And I love this, and it really pisses about 80% of the people off, but 20% you get a smile back is I see somebody, they're not looking straight ahead or they're on their phone. And I kind of, with a louder voice, I'll say, if it's morning, I'll say, good morning, how are you? And it startles them. And half of them just look at me like I'm absolutely freaking crazy. That's good, because I think they're crazy because they don't have common courtesy. But I'm not going to take it and bow down to their level. But a lot of the times, 25% of the time, they'll snap out and they'll go, oh my God, good morning. They'll return it. It shows them, all it does is catch that on fire. And that's our job. We just had elections, right? And all you're seeing is the cannon fire going back and forth at each other. I'm not buying into it, man. Honestly, at this point, I just don't care anymore. I mean, I do care but I am not going to be caught into it to where I hate my fellow man because of their political stance. I'm just not going to allow them to get to me that way. Just not going to happen. And so, as you go into Thanksgiving, I'm going to challenge you with this. Just choose something. Choose something that you can make a difference in. Maybe it's right in your family. Maybe you kind of been a shithead this year. Is start there, start easy, start low. You know, and just do it with a kind heart and with good intentions. And you can change. Maybe you won't change the world, but you'll change your world. Start changing the people around you very slowly. That's all it would take. Is people say, "Oh, society." I necessarily don't like society right now. I maybe why I stick with such a small group and why I stick with my horse and my dogs, is that my world is happy. I don't want anybody's drama and I don't want anybody's, I will try to make a difference. I will tell you that I'll try to make a difference. But if the answer is no, 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 you got to move on. So some fun exits. We were at SEMA. We saw so many great people. Prentice, this is kind of fun. Prentice St. Clair and I, Chris, you haven't heard this, is that both of us love kind of the same type of music. And a lot of the music we like, they're older bands now and they're starting to disappear. And so we've kind of made a pact that we're going to go start seeing some concerts together of these weird bands. He's, recently went all the way to England to see one of his favorite bands. I think it was Level 42 that he went and saw.
I've never even heard of him.
Yeah, he was Level 42. And yeah, well, see, that's how, him and I just like this different music. But, him and I have kind of, so he just sent me a concert that's happening this summer. I just found one. I got to send it to him this weekend. But, that's the kind of stuff that you want to engage in, is engage, bring some brightness into your life. You find somebody that shares a passion for, I got one of my good friends that totally into ancient civilizations. And so we're constantly sharing with each other, all these facts that we find out about ancient civilizations and what they're finding. That brings so much fun into your life. Is just add those little elements. So, well, Chris, hey, good job on bringing this together. This was a kind of a short one. We got a busy week, but I think the message is pretty powerful.
No, we got a busy week. Heck, we've had a busy month. It's been nuts,
Yeah.
I didn't we didn't talk too much about SEMA, but just a shout out to anybody that came to our party on Wednesday night at SEMA. We had 505 people come through the door. That's detailing industry professionals, whether they're detailers or distributors or whatever they were, manufacturers. But that was pretty cool, and we had some amazing sponsors for that event. It was a good time for everybody. I've heard lots of good things.
It was a lot of fun, and the industry. We matter of fact, we took these playing cards. We had a deck of playing cards done, and people could pick them up for $10. So I think the donations went between. We auctioned off some dynamic dressing, which this is pretty cool. If you step away for a second, but Brian Crosby, he took and we auctioned this off to the SEMA Care Foundation along with all the cards. So I think we're at about $5,000 that the detailers donated to SEMA Cares. And so we'll be posting that probably next week of how much was the final number that we put in. I'll go in and I got to finalize that. And, next year we'd like to add a 0 to that, and really help SEMA Cares out and the kids and everything else. But, well, cool. Well, Chris, we'll see you up here this afternoon or tomorrow?
This afternoon.
Cool. Well, guys, again, if you like the message today, please share it, smack that, subscribe button, smack that like button, leave a comment. You can email us, Renny at detailingsuccess.com or Chris at detailingsuccess.com. We love to hear from you, any topics that you want, or if this was a message that you appreciated. We love to hear your stories, believe it or not, we really do. So you guys take care. We got a busy day. We got to get these guys to work. And you guys have a blessed Thanksgiving. We won't be coming to you next Wednesday. We're taking the week off. I'll be on the road posting some updates, some fun updates from the road. And we will see you on the week after Thanksgiving back on the podcast. So
That's
enjoy,
right.
everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Take care of yourselves.
Thanks, guys. See you later.